Now, we like the Polestar 2 here at Electrifying. It's subtle, but it is good looking. It's got loads of great features. There's lots to recommend it. And this is a brand new version. How is it new? Well, I've had a game and spot the difference, and I can't find many ways of telling that it is, except for one very important thing. But I'm not going to tell you all about it just yet. Before I do that, please do all the usual things like subscribe to the channel, turn those notifications on, and do like and comment. Okay, now I will reveal all. This is the new Polestar 2 long-range two-wheel drive, which means it still has the largest battery, but this time only one motor that drives the front wheels. So that means less power and speed than the dual motor flagship car, but more efficiency, range, and the interesting bit, less cost. In fact, this model can cost under £40,000, making it the same kind of price as a top-level VW ID3. Said it was interesting.
This long-range version adds £3,000 to the price, but is still £3,000 cheaper than the four-wheel drive model. But the best bit is that nobody will ever know that you went for the more cost-effective version, because, well, it looks exactly the same.
But the question is, could the single motor Polestar be the pick of the bunch?
So you still get a 5-seat hatchback that runs on pure electric power. And I have to say that I think the Polestar really stacks up in the looks department. It's not double take pretty, but it is pretty handsome. The two-wheel drive version gets these 19-inch wheels as standard, and it's got the same slightly rakish roofline that we've always loved. The LED lights front and back as standard, as are the cool frameless wing mirrors. It's generally a great-looking thing and seems to provoke a positive reaction from most people.
And it's the same on the inside. This more affordable version hasn't really lost any of the things that make us really like the more expensive one. You get the same large touchscreen here in the centre. All the computery bits behind it run a brilliant Google operating system. If, like me, you aren't the most tech savvy, then we have a full tech rundown of how it all works right here with Tommy on the YouTube channel. So do check that out if you need more info. You also get shortcuts here underneath for the heating and the sound system, so you don't have to go through loads of sub-menus whilst you're driving to make it warmer inside or change the volume on the radio. You also get a voice control system, and because of that Google help, it actually works really well. Listen to this. Hi Google, how are you today?
I'm splendid. Thank you for asking.
Why are you splendid? What's the secret to that?
Okay, sometimes, when I'm bored I Google pictures of Alexa. Shh.
Honestly, Google being integrated into this car is absolutely brilliant. It is a bit of a game changer. You get plenty of room both here and also in the back. Seats are really comfy. Heating is standard up front and the leather is vegan, so no cows died in the making of it, although some plastic bottles definitely found a second life. It's got a more traditional feeling in here than some electric cars, but in this case, it's a good thing. It feels solid, it feels well made. It's very comforting. It's an easy car to spend time in, and everything in here is simple to get to grips with. The one thing I would say is that it just doesn't seem that premium to me. I think cars like the Q4 e-tron and even the Kia EV6 just have a slightly more luxurious, special feel about them.
But as ever, be aware of the good old options list if you want to keep it cheapish, or other cars will start to seem more appealing. There are two options packs, Plus for £4,000 that includes a panoramic sunroof, better stereo and heated rear seats, and Pilot, which goes for things like assisted cruise control, pixel LED lights and a 360-degree camera for £3,000. That's £7,000 in options if you have a fully loaded car, and that's getting a bit pricey.
It's also worth pointing out that the only standard colour is black. You're going to have to pay £900 if you want anything more interesting than that. £900! It's outrageous, isn't it? Particularly when you consider that if you want something sparkly on the equivalent Volvo, it's only going to set you back £585.
As far as practicality goes, it's good, but not outstanding. Like I mentioned, there's plenty of space in the back for normal-sized people, a nice big hatchback that makes it useful, and with the seats in place, the boot is bigger than, say, a VW Golf, so it's really plenty. Although it is a bit shallow, and the sloping rear hatch means you might not be able to carry tall dogs or square furniture back from IKEA.
The boot is no bigger than the four-wheel drive model. Because there's no extra motor in the rear of this car, I had hoped there might be a bit of extra boot space, but still there is a frunk up front, which is always very useful, and there's also a really useful second compartment here underneath the boot floor.
The good news is that the two-wheel drive 2 gets the same charging setup as its bigger sister, so that means up to 150 kilowatt DC rapid charging. Plugged into the average home wall box, it'll charge from flat to full in about 12 hours, and top up from 10 to 80% on a big rapid charger in just over 30 minutes, giving about 185 miles of range. Now that's pretty good, but do bear in mind the owner of the Tesla Model 3, Kia EV6 or BMW i4 will be back on the road good few minutes before you if you are all connected to one of the new 350 kilowatt rapid chargers. As far as range goes, the official test cycle says that you should get 320 miles, but we think that's probably more like 265, 270 in the real world, which is still decent though, and a good chunk more than the dual motor car.
Now, when we first drove the Polestar 2, we were very impressed by the fact it was both comfortable and pretty good fun to drive, which is a really hard trick to pull off in an electric car. And the good news is that this two-wheel drive version is very nearly as good. Look, if you're going to floor it out of a wet junction, you do notice that it only pulls with the front wheels because they scrabble slightly. But you get used to that, and come on, let's face it, how many of us really floor it out of junctions? Now, even without that extra motor, it still weighs over 2 tons, so it's not exactly a ballerina, but generally I really like the balance it strikes between being really comfortable and not too roly-poly and soft when you have to go around a roundabout or a bend. And the thing is, if I'm entirely honest, I'm not sure I actually miss the extra power. For 95% of the time, I don't tend to accelerate hard enough to make me wish my neck had extra muscles, and this has got plenty of speed to make it feel both safe and fun. Now, the ride is firm. I like it. Might be a bit too jarring for some, and you probably wouldn't want the optional 20-inch wheels, as that would make it a bit too hard, although they do look lovely. And yes, there are lots of modes right here on the brilliant Google interface. You can turn off the regenerative braking. I like to leave it in the standard one, and then stick as much charge as I can into it, and then just turn it off when I'm on the motorway. And other than that, there's just you can adapt the steering wheel, so you've got light, standard, firm. Just give a bit more feedback from the steering, and also there is a sport mode if you do want to go all out and have fun. Again, because it's just there in that brilliant touchscreen, it's really intuitive and really easy to find right at your fingertips. One thing I am really aware of though, as I'm driving along, is that the cabin feels, I guess, slightly compressed is the word I'm looking for, a bit squashed. You know, visibility is fine, but you do just have a feeling that everything is slightly enclosed due to the headroom. I'm only 5'4", it's fine for me, but I'm not sure how it's going to work if you are well over 6 foot in here. Don't know. Not sure about that one. You know what? Even in this slightly cheaper, slightly more sedate version, the Polestar 2 is still a real contender. Look, it might not be as striking as a Kia EV6 or the new Hyundai Ioniq 5, and it's definitely not as fast as a Tesla Model 3, but it has a kind of reserved, under-the-radar charm that makes it well worth considering. The tech alone is absolutely brilliant. It just works really well, which is by no means a given these days, sadly. It's also competitively priced for the performance and range, as long as you stay away from the expensive options. Which means, and I'm going to say this quietly, I think I might have this one over the dual motor. Because you know what? I'd rather save a bit of money and have the extra range over more speed. Who knew? Oh God, I think I'm getting old.
As ever, if you'd like to know more about the Polestar or its competitors like the Ioniq 5, EV6 or Model 3, then the videos are right here on the YouTube channel. And please do head over to electrifying.com for all the latest news. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and switch those notifications on.